Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Amanda Ryba, and I wanted to do this live today to get to share with you all a little bit about me and my personal story and my journey transitioning from corporate America into the financial industry and owning my own business. So, I used to work for, well, I should kind of start from the very beginning. I'm originally from Ohio, and I had gone to college for interior design, architecture, project management, transitioned out of that and into corporate America right in the middle of the recession, right? Pretty much right in 2008, 2009, 2010. And it was really hard for people to get a job back then. I remember coming out of college with, 30, 40, $50,000 in student loan debt, and my first full-time job that I got in Ohio was at a design firm, literally paying me like $26 an hour. I'm sorry, not $26 an hour, $26,000 a year full-time salary, which, sounds like nothing today, but at the time it was decent. It was barely enough to make my, I guess I would say, normal bills. I was pretty much living paycheck to paycheck at the time. And I worked there for a few years, and then I decided, it was time to make the jump over to California. It was a place that I have always wanted to live, and I had a couple friends from college that had lived out here. So I really wanted to make the jump. And it's like, they always say it's never well, realistically, you feel like it's never the right time. And then one morning, it was New Year's Day 2013. I was like, I'm done. I'm ready. I'm over the snow. I'm over the cold. I'm ready to be somewhere where I feel like I have an opportunity to grow and do some new things. And I started looking for a job. Immediately found something very similar to what I was doing in Ohio out here in Northern California. Made the jump over and really have never looked back. So from there, I did a lot of job jumping around in Northern California. Worked for some big tech companies that you probably heard of. One of those being Tesla Motors. I worked for Tesla. Yes, I did back in the day. And I was on their design, their architecture team, helping design the space, the very little bit of space that they had at that time, the buildings that the people sat in, not necessarily, the cars or anything like that, but the factory, the administrative space that people sat in, the lobbies, that sort of thing. And then I transitioned out of that company and went to a really big tech company called Salesforce, which I'm sure some of you guys have heard of. Salesforce, massive, massive tech company based out of Northern California. And again, I was kind of more in like a project management role on the real estate workplace services side. And I always tell people, if you know anything about tech, well, you're working 60, 70, 80 hours round the clock every single week, and you are on salary, most likely, if you're in the industry, part of the company that I was in, which was design, real estate, workplace services, things like that. And I loved what I did, but I was just significantly, in my opinion, overworked, underpaid at the time, not married, no kids. So I was, always asked to be first in, last out. And the way I looked at it was I didn't move to Northern California, this beautiful place, to work, the hours that I was working and not get paid for nearly half of it. As much as I love the company, I love the mission. I love the crusade. Salesforce was out there really to make a big impact. They actually gave us VTO, volunteer days off. They were big on giving back to the community. So I knew that was something that was really important to me. I just, I had just kind of hit a brick wall after a few years of being there where I was really just ready for a big change. And luckily, a couple people, a couple friends that I had at the time, acquaintances, had been working in the financial industry for a while. And they said to me, hey, look, if you really want to change careers, whatever it is you're looking to do, you should probably get on top of your money and make sure that everything is good from that perspective. And then you can start to look for either a new company, new job, whatever it is. So I sat down with them, and in literally 20 to 30 minutes, like what I learned, I was so amazed by how much information is out there that we are just not taught, right? I mean, we go to school to ideally get a good job, to ideally live the American dream, but yet nobody teaches us any basic classes on money or finance or budgeting or anything. And I had always been searching for a way to make more money, a way to get my money to make me more money. And I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but I definitely had a few friends growing up that I know were not smarter than me, yet always seemed to be so much further ahead financially. And I couldn't figure it out. And once I sat down and I figured out the inner workings, the basic building blocks to financial education, it all started to click and make a lot of sense. And then from there, I was immediately like, can you guys help me personally? Right. Like, I wanted to make sure that I was in a good financial situation. But then from there, I'm like, well, what about my family? And what about my coworkers and people that I love and care about? Like, these people all need to know this stuff. And luckily, they said to me at the time, um, if you just get a license and you refer people over to us, you want to become part of our referral program, we can actually compensate you for sending people to us. So I'm a great test taker. I am really good at multiple choice exams. I'm a good memorizer. I was able to get through that in literally 4 to 5 days. And from there, I was just sending people their way. And then eventually, I was making more money on a referral basis than I was working my full time career salary monthly with Salesforce. So, and I was working barely any hours a week. So I was like, all right, maybe I should kind of take a look at this thing. And I love to learn. I love to be challenged. I love to be somewhere where I just don't get bored. I had always felt like anywhere I had worked prior, I would always get bored. In 3 to 6 months, I would have learned everything I could possibly learn and I was over it. So, this is the one industry where I feel like there's always something new to know. There's always a new product coming out. There's always a new law coming out. There's always something new that's happening that keeps you on your toes and challenges you to be better for your client, right? You have to stay on top of the latest and greatest of everything that's in the market. So I wanted to learn more. I started working with some of the best brokers in the industry. And I was lucky and fortunate enough that they offered to train me, and they did train me for free, which was even more amazing to think that I didn't have to go back and get another 2 year, 4 year college degree to be able to do this. And it was something where I felt like this is really doing good for people. This is really going to make an impact. Like, if everybody just knew basic financial education, imagine how much further ahead this world would be, the economy, right? Everybody, if we could help raise up middle class America together through financial education, I was like, man, that would really change some things. And I don't come from a family that was born into, significant money. I would say we were comfortable growing up, but I definitely didn't come from a lifestyle where, we knew this stuff. I mean, my family knew the basics, but that was it. So I think learning financial education is so important, and learning how to budget, learning how to save, learning what types of accounts you can save your money into for different types of goals. I just found it so fascinating that there's just so much stuff that people just they don't know about. So from there, I worked part-time for a little while, and then I really started to see, like, okay, you know, there's a need for this, right? There's a lot of people that need this. And I became somebody that other people wanted to work with from a trainer perspective. I've always had a passion for teaching, educating, and kind of like raising up the next generation. In college, I was actually I taught the orientation class for my major for all the new students coming in, and then I got promoted. Right, you do the job for free, but I got promoted to train the trainer role, where I was training the trainers of the class, and that's what I love about what I do now. Is yes, I do work with clients on a one-on-one basis, but I am more passionate about working with what I call next gen, right? The next generation of agents and financial educators that are coming behind me, and making sure that they're well equipped and they know the right things to say, the right way to properly represent companies, product, services to their clients. So I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but I worked part time in this industry for about a year and a half. And then, like I was saying, I was able to make more money here part time than I was at my full time career. I had a serious conversation with one of the mentors that I was working with at that time. And he just basically said, look, worst case scenario, you go back, right? Like, you can always just give it a shot, see if it works. He guaranteed me that I could make what I had strived, my goal. This is a funny story, but my goal in corporate America was to make $250,000 a year. And I told him that because he said, how much money do you want to make? And I said, 250,000 a year. And he said, okay, well, can I challenge you to go back to your boss at Salesforce and ask her, what would it take for you to make $250,000 a year at Salesforce? And I was like, "Oh my gosh, no, like, I'm gonna get fired. I can't ask her that." And he's like, "Ask her. If she's your manager, like, she's gonna tell you what you need to do to raise up through the ranks." So So I did. I went back and I remember having a walking like lunch or something with her. And I said, this is a big goal of mine. I'd like to cross a quarter million in income. What would it take for me to be able to do that here at Salesforce? And she thought about it and she was like, huh, okay, well, I don't even think our director makes that. So how could you make that? She's like, well, honestly, Amanda, if I had to give you my honest thought about that, what I would say is you'd want to quit Salesforce. You'd want to go jump around between a few startups in the Northern California area. Go jump around between a couple of startups that are here. Raise your title because at startups you can get a higher title because there's not as many people that work there. So if you can just raise up the title, that's all you need to do. Probably 6, 7 years from now, you could come back to Salesforce at a director, senior director level role and be making $250,000 a year. And I was like, okay, so what do you think total timeline? She's like, probably 10 years. Like if you did that for like 6, 7, 8 years, probably in 8 to 10 years, you could be at $250,000. I'm like, okay, that's not bad, right? That's not bad. I thought that was decent. So I went back and told that to my mentor and he was like, okay, she gave you an 8 to 10 year timeline. And I said, yeah. He's like, what would you say if I told you I could give you a 2 to 3 year timeline? And I'm like, oh, that's a big difference, right? That's a big difference. And I'm like, okay, I'm in, I'm listening, right? Count me in. So it wasn't long after that that I decided to take the leap of faith and leave my corporate job and come into the financial industry full time. And I was scared. I had really no idea what I was doing, but I had the best coaches and the best leadership and people that were there to support me and hold my hand the whole way through it. Yes, I failed quite a bit in the beginning and it was super scary. And there were definitely times where I'm like, I'm not meant for this, right? This isn't for me. I don't know why I did this. I need to go. I'm going to go back to my job. And I thought that so many times in the beginning. And I'm so glad that I surrounded myself with people that believed in me and really encouraged me to stay the course because they said, hey, look, here you've got a shot. There you have no shot. Which path are you going to take, right? And I'm like yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be painful. Yes, it's going to be challenging in the beginning while you're building it. But if you can just stick around long enough, give this thing 5 to 7 years of real hard true work, you'll have the rest of your life to do whatever you want. And I can definitely say now it's been 7+ years now, just over 7 years, and looking back on those conversations, it's like they were right. They were right. And it was super hard in the beginning, but I will say, like, when you're passionate about what you do and you love what you do and you care about helping people and you're here to make an impact, you really have a big why, and everything else just somehow eventually falls into place. And that's what I held on to all those months and years where it was really tough and I struggled and I wasn't making any money and I wasn't helping any clients and nobody wanted to sit down with me. And you're building your name, you're building your brand, and most importantly, you're building you, right? You're building the skin, the thick skin that you need to have to be able to step into the lifestyle that you've always dreamt of. It doesn't just get handed to you. You have to get built into the person that is deserving of that and that can handle it. And I look at all those years like they were building me. Like maybe I really wasn't building a business, right? But they were building me. And that is more valuable, in my opinion, than anything. So now I'm finally able to say that I'm living that dream lifestyle that the very beginning of it, by no means where I ever want to be. I'm definitely not, a multimillionaire yet, but I'm in the making and I have a plan and I have leadership and coaching and the people that are there that are guiding me to build this business to something that I can eventually pass down to my family and my children, and it can leave generational wealth and it can create a legacy that will last forever. And I love that about this industry and the fact that we help clients and they become a part of our family. We have them in our circle forever. You talk to any of my clients, probably 5, 6, 700 plus clients now. I talk to them all the time. I get invited to their birthday parties, their weddings, their baby showers, like everything. And it's so great to say that, it's not a transactional business, it's a relationship oriented business. And that's also what builds your book. So if you're new to the industry and you're trying to figure this thing out, that is one thing I would say is really focus on relationships, because that is ultimately where a lot of your referrals and your business is going to come from. That clients want to work with you, right? Half of them don't even know who they have a product through, right? They want to work with you. They trust you, and you've got to work to build those relationships, and that's where a lot of your business will come from for a very long time. And it's this business has allowed me to pretty much build any lifestyle that I wanted. In the beginning, pre-COVID, yes, we were in offices. Yes, I was driving. Yes, I was territorial bound. There was only so far I could go, right? I could only see clients as far as I could drive, or vice versa. But now, given everything is 100% remote, right? We work through Zoom thanks to COVID. I mean, I know COVID, a lot of bad things came from that, but one really good thing that did come from it was the fact that we can work from anywhere. And I was gone for 5 weeks. I was in, where did I go? I was in Tennessee, then I was in Ohio visiting some family, then I was in Utah for a conference, then I was up in Vancouver and Whistler, Canada. And to think that I was able to be gone for that amount of time and not stress financially, and know that I have built a business and a team, and I have things in place where I can do that is amazing. And also be able to work, right? Many of you that I spoke to during that time know I was also working and on appointments and helping clients. And it was great. It was a wonderful experience. And I'm looking forward to doing that again here in the next couple months as well. And, that's the lifestyle that I always wanted, was to be able to go wherever I want, be wherever I want, hang out with whatever I want, do whatever I want with whoever I want, right? And not have to ask permission, take PTO. I live so far from friends and family, and to think that when I had that corporate job, I missed so much because I just didn't have a lot of PTO. I couldn't go back for holidays. I couldn't go back for every wedding. I couldn't go back for funerals or things that were really important to me because I didn't have PTO. I couldn't go. So that is one, some of the main reasons why I got into this industry, what I love about it. And I really do think if you're contemplating it, it could be for anybody, right? This industry could be for anybody, but not everybody can or will do it. So the question really boils down to you. What are your goals? What are your whys? How bad do you want it? And what are you willing to give up? And what are you willing to sacrifice to build the lifestyle that you and your family have always wanted? I work with a lot of amazing men and women and that are on my team and my clients. And I always ask them about their goals and things that they want. And the real question is, how bad do you want it? You can have these goals, and that's great. But the question is, are you actually going to do something to achieve them? And just know that there are people out there that will coach you and will train you and will mentor you if you just meet them halfway. And I'm one of them. So if we haven't had the chance yet to meet, I would love to meet you. I do plan on doing a live here more frequently, so you'll probably see me at least once a week. And, if you'd like to connect, you're welcome to click the link that's in my bio, schedule a call with me. I'd love to chat, hear your story, and see how I could maybe help, whether that's on the business side, whether that's on the client side. I would love to get to meet you. And we are actually hosting a live event with some of my mentors. Will actually be speaking next week on Tuesday. It is November 14th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So we would love to see you there. You're welcome to click the link in my bio to register for that. We do have very limited seating for it because it is on a Zoom, so we can't have just everybody show up. But we do hope to see you there. And other than that, I hope you guys got a lot of today, and I really do look forward to connecting. And I wish everyone an awesome Thursday and a great weekend. Happy holidays. Talk to you soon.